Hello, my very dear friend. Please come in. Do not stand on ceremony. The door is always open for you here. Come in out of the noise and the haste of the world outside. It is so genuinely lovely to see you again. I have just put a fresh pot of tea on the stove. It is a gentle blend of chamomile and lemon balm today, something to soothe the spirit, and the room is nice and warm. Let us settle into our favourite armchairs, the ones by the window where the light catches the dust motes dancing in the air, and just take a moment to breathe, truly breathe. The world outside can be so incredibly rushed, can't it? Everyone seems to be running about, checking their watches, looking for quick fixes, instant answers, and immediate gratification. But in here, in our little sanctuary, we have the luxury of time. We have the space to slow down, to listen, and to truly understand the wonderful, miraculous vessel that carries us through life, our body. We all share a very similar, very human wish, don't we? As the years gently turn the pages of our lives, moving us from one chapter to the next, we want to remain upright. We want to be strong. We want to be capable. We dream of tending to our gardens without our backs complaining, of playing on the carpet with our grandchildren without fearing we won't be able to get back up, or simply enjoying a long, rambling afternoon walk in the autumn air without feeling fragile or brittle. We want our frame to support our spirit, not limit it. Since we were no bigger than a sapling, we have been told a very specific story. We were told that calcium is the bedrock of this strength. Drink your milk, our mothers would say. Build strong bones. And indeed, they were right. Calcium is the very mortar that holds our frame together. It is the chalk of the cliffs, the stone of the mountain, living right inside us. But have you ever paused, perhaps in the quiet of the night, to wonder if that calcium always ends up exactly where we intended to go? Nature is a complex and beautiful dance, and sometimes even the best dancers need a partner to show them the steps. Think of calcium a bit like a well-meaning but slightly confused guest who has arrived at your large, sprawling home for a dinner party. They are full of energy and eager to help, but without the right directions or a friendly hand to guide them, they might wander into the wrong room. Instead of settling comfortably in the dining room, which represents your bones, where the party is in full swing, they might accidentally loiter in the hallways. They might crowd the corridors, bumping into the furniture, making it difficult for anyone else to pass through. In the intricate geography of our bodies, those hallways are our arteries and our blood vessels.
When calcium gets lost and settles there, it doesn't strengthen us, it stiffens us. It turns our flexible, flowing rivers of life into rigid pipes. It turns the soft, pulsing pathways of our heart into stone. And this, my friend, is the heart of the mystery we are going to unravel together today. Today, we are not just talking about calcium in isolation, as if it were a simple ingredient in a cake. We are going to learn the gentle, forgotten art of giving it a map. We are going to discover how to guide this essential mineral home, ensuring it strengthens your frame rather than restricting your flow. It is a fascinating story of teamwork within the body, a story of hidden heroes and chemical conversations, and I promise you, the solution is far simpler, far more elegant, and far more natural than you might imagine. But before we reveal the solution, I must ask you to be patient with me. I know we are conditioned to want the magic pill immediately, but if I simply told you the name of a vitamin right now, it wouldn't truly help you, because you wouldn't understand how to use it or why it matters. It would be like giving you a key without showing you which door it unlocks. To truly change your health, we must first change your understanding. So let us take the scenic route together. To understand this better, let me tell you a little story about someone we might call Auntie Martha. Now, Martha is a fictional neighbor, a character we are creating together, but I suspect you might know someone just like her. Perhaps she reminds you of a dear friend, a relative, or perhaps in her quiet worries and her hopeful actions, you might see a reflection of yourself. Martha is a wonderful woman, full of life, the kind of person who bakes bread on Sundays and tends to her rose bushes with the dedication of a royal gardener. When she turned 55, she began to feel the passage of time in her joints. She decided she wanted to do everything right for her health. She wanted to ensure her bones stayed as sturdy as the old oak tree in her front garden so she could keep gardening for decades to come. She read the magazines, she watched the advertisements, and she did what many of us have been advised to do for generations. She went to the shop and bought the largest bottle of calcium supplements she could find. She felt quite proud of herself. Every single morning, religiously, Martha would have her cup of tea, her slice of toast with marmalade, and her large white calcium tablet. She felt quite proud of herself, thinking she was depositing savings into her body's bank account. She imagined those tablets marching straight to her hips and her spine, reinforcing them like steel beams. However, as the months turned into years, Martha didn't feel more agile. In fact, she began to notice a certain stiffness, a heaviness in her movements that hadn't been there before. Her walks became shorter. Her energy felt a bit sludgy, if that makes sense. When she went for her routine checkup, her doctor looked at her charts with a furrowed brow and mentioned that her blood pressure was creeping up and her circulation wasn't quite as free-flowing as it used to be. He mentioned calcification in the arteries. Martha was baffled. She was heartbroken. She thought she was building a fortress, but unknowingly she had been piling up bricks in the wrong place. She had been diligent, she had been disciplined, but she had been operating with an incomplete map. I share this story not to worry you. Please do not let your heart race, but to validate you. If you have been taking supplements and wondering why you don't feel fantastic, or if you are worried about your own bone health, please know that you haven't done anything wrong. You are simply acting on good intentions and the information you had at the time. Like Martha, you are just missing a small, invisible partner, a guide that helps the calcium do its job properly. It is a classic case of having the right materials but missing the instructions. Let us try to visualize what is happening inside us using a different picture, one that I find very helpful. I want you to imagine your body not as a biological machine of pumps and pistons, but as a beautiful, grand manor house that is constantly under renovation. It is a heritage building, precious and unique with history in its walls. Now, in this metaphor, calcium represents the delivery of high-quality red bricks needed to repair the walls and strengthen the foundations of this manor. When we take a concentrated calcium supplement, or even when we eat a diet very high in calcium without the right companions, it is as if a fleet of delivery trucks has arrived at the manor house all at once. They back up to the main entrance, your bloodstream, and they dump thousands of bricks right there in the driveway. Now, having bricks is wonderful. We need them for the walls. We cannot build without them. But if the master builders aren't there to move them, what happens? Those bricks just sit there. They pile up. They block the path. Eventually, the pile gets so high that it blocks the driveway completely. The mailman can't deliver the letters. The fresh air can't circulate. In medical terms, we might call this vascular calcification, but let's just call it misplaced repair material. The body isn't trying to harm you. The body is simply trying to store the delivery the best way it knows how.
It sees all this calcium floating about in the blood, dangerously high, and it thinks, oh dear, I must put this somewhere safe before it causes trouble. It looks at the walls of the arteries and thinks, well, I suppose I shall just tuck it into the walls here for safekeeping. But we don't want bricks in our plumbing, do we? We want them in the structural walls. We want soft, elastic arteries that expand and contract with every beat of our heart, and we want hard, dense bones that can carry us up mountains. So, the big question, the question that brings us here today, is how do we move the bricks from the driveway to the walls? How do we clear the blockage and restore the flow? This brings us to the secret reveal, the missing link that poor Auntie Martha didn't know about. To manage this construction site effectively, we need two very special members of staff. We need a doorman and a guide. The first character is one you likely know well. He is famous, he is popular, and he is very important. His name is Vitamin D3. Think of D3 as the doorman of the manor house. He stands at the front door, the lining of your gut, and his job is to let calcium into the body. When you consume calcium, whether from a piece of cheese, a glass of milk, or a supplement, it knocks at the door of your gut, asking to come in. Vitamin D3 is the one who unlocks the latch and swings the door wide open, saying, "Come on in, we need you, the house needs repairs." Without vitamin D3, the calcium would just knock and knock, eventually walking away and leaving the body completely. You could eat all the calcium in the world, but without vitamin D, it would simply pass right through you. So, vitamin D3 is absolutely essential for absorption. But here is the catch, and it is a very big catch. Once inside, the calcium is just standing in the hallway, unsure of where to go. The doorman has done his job. He has let the guest in, but he cannot leave his post at the door. He cannot leave the door unattended. So the calcium begins to wander. It is inside the house, yes, but it is lost. It might drift into the soft tissues, or settle in the joints, causing stiffness, or cling to the walls of the arteries, causing hardening. This is where the second friend enters the story, a crucial, often overlooked guide that many of us are missing. This is the friend that poor Auntie Martha never met. Without him, calcium gets lost. Imagine a sophisticated traffic controller, or perhaps a wise, elegant butler who knows every corner of the manor house. He knows exactly which walls need repairing and which corridors must be kept clear. He effectively takes calcium by the hand and walks it specifically to the bones, ensuring it doesn't loiter in your delicate arteries.
He activates a special protein, let's call it a claw, that picks up the calcium from the bloodstream and cements it firmly into the bone matrix where it belongs. This protein is called osteocalcin. But he does something else even more miraculous. He activates another protein, let's call it a broom, called matrix GLA protein. This broom sweeps the arteries clean, ensuring no stray bricks are left behind to cause a blockage. He literally prevents the calcification of your blood vessels while building your bones. His name is Vitamin K2. I wonder, have you heard of this quiet hero before, or is he a new friend to you? It is quite remarkable, isn't it? For years, decades even, we focused so heavily on the doorman, Vitamin D, that we forgot about the guide, Vitamin K2. They are partners. They are a dynamic duo. One opens the door, the other guides the guest to their seat. Without K2, the calcium is all dressed up with nowhere to go. I would love to hear from you on this. Please pause for a second and write in the comments below, "I knew about the guide," or "This is new to me." It helps me so much to know where we are starting from on this journey together, and I always love reading about your discoveries. It makes me feel like we are truly having a conversation in this room. Now, you might be wondering, if this system is so clever, why does it go wrong? Why do so many of us suffer from brittle bones and stiff arteries? Well, often it comes down to the difference between a gentle rain and a flash flood. This brings us to how we consume our nutrients and the mistakes we often make in our modern lives. When we take a high-dose calcium supplement, especially without food, it creates a sudden spike in blood calcium, a flash flood. It overwhelms the soil of our garden. The body panics a little. It has too much to handle all at once. Even if you have some vitamin K2, the traffic controller simply cannot manage thousands of trucks arriving at the exact same second. The system gets jammed. That is when mistakes happen and calcium gets deposited in the soft tissues. However, when we get calcium from food, or when we take smaller, balanced amounts spread throughout the day, it is like a soft, nourishing rain. The body absorbs it slowly, rhythmically. Nature, in her infinite wisdom, usually packages calcium with its own instructions. When you eat a piece of quality cheese or a serving of leafy greens, you aren't just getting calcium, you are getting enzymes, cofactors, fats, and often the very vitamins needed to absorb it. The body knows exactly how to handle this gentle rain. It soaks it up and uses it to make the garden bloom. There is one more character in the story of the Grand Manor that we must not forget.
If calcium is the tension, the bricks, the structure, the muscle contracting, then we need something to provide the relaxation, the space, the breath out. That element is magnesium. Imagine the master builder working all day, laying bricks. He is strong, he is focused, he is tense. He needs to rest, doesn't he? He needs to stretch and relax at the end of the day. Magnesium is that relaxation. Biologically, calcium excites our nerves and tenses our muscles. It is the on switch. Magnesium calms them down. It is the off switch. If we have too much calcium and not enough magnesium, our internal house becomes too tight, too rigid. We might feel cramping in our legs at night, a fluttering anxiety in our chest, or just a general sense of being wound up. Magnesium helps to keep the calcium dissolved in the blood, so it doesn't form stones or hard deposits. It keeps the traffic in the driveway moving smoothly. It is the peacekeeper of the body. Without magnesium, the vitamin D cannot even be converted into its active form. It is the spark plug that starts the engine. So we have our team, the bricks, calcium, the Doorman, vitamin D3, the guide, vitamin K2, and the Peacekeeper, magnesium. When they work together, your body becomes a fortress of strength and a river of health. Now, I know what you are thinking. You are thinking, this sounds wonderful, but how do I do it? How do I bring all this lovely theory into my kitchen? The wonderful news is that you don't need a pharmacy to find these solutions. Often the grocery store holds the key. We are looking for delightful nutrition, not a weapon of war. We are looking to treat our bodies with kindness. Let's talk about finding our guide, vitamin K2. This is the tricky one, as it has largely disappeared from the modern diet. Picture a slice of aged cheese, like a rich, golden Gouda or a creamy, soft brie. These aren't just treats to be eaten with guilt, they are delicious sources of vitamin K2. The fermentation process that creates these cheeses actually produces the vitamin. Imagine the texture of a hard vintage cheddar crumbling slightly as you slice it, the sharp, tangy aroma filling the air. That is the taste of bone support. The bacteria that ferment the cheese create the K2 as a byproduct. It is a gift from nature. For the adventurous souls among us, there is a traditional Japanese dish called natto. It is fermented soybeans. Now, I must be honest with you as a friend. Friends tell each other the truth. Natto has a very strong flavor and a unique sticky texture that is certainly an acquired taste. It smells a bit like strong ammonia and stretches like melted marshmallow. But it is perhaps the richest source of K2 on the planet.
In Japan, where natto is eaten regularly for breakfast, rates of bone fractures and heart issues are fascinatingly different from the West. If you can learn to love it, your bones will thank you. But if not, don't worry. I confess, I struggle with it myself. If natto is not for you, a tangy, crunchy sauerkraut is also a wonderful friend. But be careful. It must be the raw, refrigerated kind, alive with bacteria, not the pasteurized kind in a jar on the warm shelf. Or perhaps rich golden egg yolks from chickens that have been allowed to roam outside and eat grass and bugs. The color of the yolk tells you the story. A pale yellow yolk is sad, but a deep orange yolk is full of sunshine and K2. For vitamin D3, the Doorman, we have fatty fish. Imagine a beautiful fillet of salmon, pan-seared until the skin is crisp, the pink flesh flaking perfectly. Or perhaps the humble sardine or mackerel. These fish provide that essential vitamin D, bringing a richness to your plate that your body craves. And of course, the sun itself is our primary source. The feeling of the sun on your skin is not just pleasant. It is a chemical reaction, a manufacturing plant turning cholesterol into vitamin D. Though in the darker winter months, or if we spend our lives indoors, we often need a little extra help there. And for our leafy greens, spinach, kale, collard greens, Swiss chard, think of the crunch of these dark leaves. They are the ancient foundation of bone health. They provide the calcium along with magnesium, wrapped up in a perfect fibrous package that the body digests slowly and happily. But here's a secret. You must eat them with fat. Vitamin K and vitamin D are fat-soluble. This means they are useless without a little bit of fat to carry them. So when you sauté these greens, do not be afraid to use a little bit of quality butter or a generous drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. You are not just making them taste better, you are creating the perfect environment for absorption. You are unlocking the nutrients. A salad without oil is a missed opportunity. I want to pause here for a moment because I know it can be overwhelming to think about changing your diet. You might be thinking, "Oh, do I have to eat all of this every day? It seems like so much work." Please do not worry. It is not about perfection. It is not about strict rules. It's about small, consistent adjustments. Think about your breakfast routine tomorrow. Is there one small change you could make? Perhaps adding a slice of cheese to your toast, or swapping a processed sugary snack for a natural yogurt with a handful of crushed walnuts, or perhaps taking a 10-minute walk in the midday sun. What is one small thing you could do for your grand manor this week? Of course, I must gently remind you, as we sit here chatting, that what we are describing here is nutritional advice and lifestyle wisdom. It does not replace the treatment given by your doctor. It supports it. If you are on blood-thinning medication, for example, you must speak with your doctor before increasing your vitamin K2 or changing your diet drastically, as they interact. We want to work with your medical team, not against them. We are building a support network for your health. Let us put this all together into a golden protocol, a simple way to organize your day so your body feels supported without you feeling stressed. First, always try to prioritize food sources of calcium. Your body recognizes food. It speaks the language of food fluently. A cup of yogurt, a tin of sardines with the bones in, a handful of almonds, these are safe and effective. They provide the gentle rain rather than the flash flood. They come with their own instructions. Second, if you and your healthcare provider decide that supplements are necessary, perhaps you cannot eat dairy or you have a specific deficiency, look for the team, not the lone wolf. Do not just buy calcium. Look for a supplement that combines vitamin D3 and vitamin K2, specifically the form called MK7, which lasts longer in the body. Remember, you need the Doorman and the guide together. Taking them together ensures the calcium gets to the right address. And third, consider inviting magnesium to your evening routine. Since magnesium is the mineral of relaxation, taking it in the evening can help you unwind, relax your muscles, and prepare for a restful sleep, all while balancing the calcium you consumed during the day. It's a lovely way to say good night to your body. Imagine it as the night watchman, turning off the lights and locking the doors, ensuring everything is peaceful until morning. Before we part ways today, I want to leave you with a message of hope. I know that aging can feel scary. I know that reading about calcification and bone loss can make us feel like our bodies are failing us.
But your body is incredibly wise. It has an innate intelligence that knows how to heal, how to rebalance, and how to thrive. It has been doing this for you since the moment you were born. Sometimes it gets a little confused because of our modern habits or because we gave it the wrong map, but it is always trying to do its best for you. It is never too late to start giving it the right maps and the right tools. Even if you are 80 years old, your body is still listening to you. You are not fighting a battle against aging. You are simply learning how to tend to your garden with a bit more skill and a bit more patience. You are learning to be a better caretaker of your brand Manor.
Thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such a pleasure to share these moments, to sit in these chairs and simply talk about what matters. The tea has gone a little cold, but the conversation has been warm. If you found this chat helpful, and if you want to understand even more about what to avoid, you might also want to have a look at our other conversation, titled "Check out our other great video about the danger of calcium supplements, why they might calcify your arteries," where we dive even deeper into the specific risks of the flash flood we talked about. It is the perfect companion to what we learned today. Until then, take great care of your wonderful home. Be gentle with yourself, listen to the whispers of your body, and I shall see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.